welcome everybody to today's Company Fuse 3 cast. This time it will be a coaching cast for a replay BishBashBosh just provided with a request for some advices. And yeah, but let's just already give it a try. And let's welcome Eijfflebridges. He is attending live.
Yes, we're back again.
Now we are back. Yeah, so I have some help for the analysis, and I think let's deactivate the Fog of War maybe. Or maybe not. What do you think? Should we activate it or deactivate it?
For the coaching cast, maybe it's a good idea to not have it available, so we know exactly what he is seeing.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah,
That's
let's do it.
maybe interesting because we're trying to coach him. So yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, so
easy to say like, oh, watch out for that thing if you don't see it, we're seeing it through the fog of war.
That's very true. Oh, look at that!
Oh, we are so smart.
But we certainly saw that even with the fog of war activate, so he just entered the outer rim of the capture point to save some seconds. Very nice, very well played. Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Impressive capping indeed.
Yeah. Okay, so it's opening with a Panzer Grenadier and another Panzer Pioneer. I think that's a good idea because early on... but wait a second, which faction is he playing against? Do you remember? Wait a second, he's...
British on the name,
yeah.
you can switch the names, right? You can check what the other faction is.
Yeah, he's playing against British forces. Okay, so I think then it's an even better idea because when the British forces, and I usually like to do it against the DAK, go for the Dingo Light Scout at the very beginning, then these Panzer Grenadiers are very, very good in repelling it in the first engagement. That's very nice. The Panzer Pioneers not so much. The Panzer Pioneers are more or less a manpower bleed trap with the Dingo in the early game. But so that was nice. That, however, is not a good idea. Should instant retreat with this squad because there's no additional squad to back that up. So he's just basically farming damage.
Yeah. And also they were the sappers were repairing, and when they're repairing, it's a great time to shoot at them for the increased damage.
Yeah, very true. Okay, now he went into the building.
And the building is not that bad. So training a little bit back.
And still, this squad is super low now. So any second or any small fire will cause a manpower will cause a model drop. I guess. Where is it? Ah, there. Yeah. Model 2 is just about to drop. Okay, so over here I would like to point out something. Against the British forces, it's very essential for the DAK to get close range with the Panzer Grenadiers because so when I monitored this engagement over here, you try to get into the green cover over here. That is certainly a good idea, usually, but against the British forces, I always would like to see the Panzer Grenadiers to instantly rush into the engagement, get very close, because the clue of the Panzer Grenadiers is that it's pretty self-explanatory. But the Panzer Grenadiers have a higher damage output when they get close range, and that is not the same, or that's not true for the sections actually. The sections have the same damage output for all the different ranges they fire at, so always try to get close with the Panzer Grenadiers when you're fighting against sections. Doesn't apply for riflemen of the US forces, but for the sections you should try to do that. Anyway.
Territory sector out of contact.
Yeah, some model drops, but it's not too bad because the map control is pretty decent.
And he forgot to keep the munition point at the top, maybe to Buck, because I noticed he was there, so I don't know if that was a misclick or something else.
MG34 and crew standing by.
MG34 and crew ready.
Yeah, I think one can do that if he wants to cap over here aggressively, because this capture point is easy to defend for this side of the, or for the player on this side on the map. But then I think the rest of the army also should engage over here somewhere, not over here. And then one can try to get access to this 16-time ammunition point, as he just did. So maybe not the very worst idea. But the execution was not perfect, let's say.
MG34.
Yeah. Ha. So I'm curious now. people are going for the MG34. I always like the DAK to go for the what was it again? No, for the here Italian infantry battle group because of the prepared positions buff for the support weapons. That's amazing. They're so tanky then. Also, this map, it's not a bad idea. And also against the British forces, I guess, to go for this battle group because of the baby tanks. The baby tanks are, in my opinion, it's a lot of fun to use them against early Humbers, for instance. It can be quite punishing when you go for them.
Indeed.
And as we see, two, and also, of course, the Dingo. Twos?
Dingo's
Yeah. Oh. A little bit closer. Maybe you
can
can
engage with both the squads.
Yeah. Ah,
Doing
he's
it.
having the same
Yeah,
idea at the very moment.
great.
Nice.
Run at it, run at it. No!
Yes!
Oh, it's still gone. Great.
Well played. Yeah, interesting map control proportions. That is funny to see. Oh, by the way, always use your engineers to set up some sandbags wherever they are. Set up some sandbags, like for instance over here at the victory point. Or, with the DAK, maybe don't spam mines so much because you also need the ammunition for instance the LMGs or so. But yeah, sandbags very essential. Also over here, all of these positions could already have sandbags for them.
Territory sector has been claimed by the enemy.
I think it's the heavy mortar.
Oh, it's the mortar.
Yeah, the mortar.
Excuse me.
Aha. Ooh, retreat, save the manpower. That's also something I would recommend. Always try to, if you have squads like that, try to retreat them instead of having a very bad fight. Oh no, a wipe! Oh, they're coming away. But basically, if there is a squad with very many low models, like for instance these squads as well, try to retreat all of these squads as well as the low engineer squad, and use your 250 to heal them up. In the late early game, that is a very good thing because you can save the manpower. Oh yeah. For the 2.5 medical truck, and that is giving you the not quite an advantage, but the life insurance manpower-wise you need with the DAK. Yeah. Because this squad, for instance, this squad will serve for a huge manpower bleed now, and this squad as well. Anyway. Yeah.
Oh yes, the healing truck, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, BishBash, he takes the grenades. I would like to see that. Not everybody's a fan of the grenades, but I am. Ooh! Too late for the witch.
Yeah. Nice push.
Yeah. Wow.
Really get some ground.
And no model drop so far.
Really get the squad back now.
Yeah.
Save the manpower. Love to see it, because after that push you achieved... Oh!
Okay.
Look what the mortar did there. Oh, he's
awesome
going to try to
waste.
steal it. That's a little bit too greedy, but it would be awesome if it works.
That almost hit us!
Run!
Why is it not having a retreat button? Ah, God damn it. Ah, okay,
yeah,
it's gone.
I thought so. Get out of there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, good idea that he went for the, because, yeah. Oh, no. Ah, I misinterpreted that. Okay.
A victory point is being taken.
Okay,
from us.
a little build advice. So if you are going for the tier 3 for the DAK, in my opinion, it is a little bit more effective to not go for the tank hunters, the mechanized tank hunters, but rather for the how is it called again? The yeah, some martyrs and the assault grenadiers called in. I think that's better. Yeah, because the martyrs are so... It's a crime that they are so cheap and still so good. In my opinion, the martyrs are still pretty overpowered. The combination martyrs with Stu is still horrible. But since the DAK as such is still the weakest faction, in my opinion, it is of course okay to do to use these units.
They kind of
So
need to balance it out.
yeah. But so now, as you went for the tier 3, yeah, that's the Marder. Okay, so as you are going for the Marder and already detect the grenades for the Panzer Grenadiers, you have snare capabilities. You don't basically need the tank hunters. And another thing that is very nice is, as I already pointed out, the sections don't get a damage output buff when they get close range. So that means that the assault grenadiers are even more effective against sections, because when you are able to get close range, and on these maps with some houses over here, which create some noobs, it's very handy to use some assault grenadiers to just stroll around some of these buildings to set up some nice traps and have a nice ambush. Ooh, that is, I think that's a wipe. Should be a wipe.
The other squad, the back squad needs to close the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Follow them.
It could be still
But I
wipe.
think if you walk just a little bit more with the squads, follow the
Enemy
separate
forces have
they
claimed
would
our
have perished.
sector.
Yeah.
Nice nade.
Oh, the heavy mortar. It's doing heavy mortar stuff.
Great support.
Just retreat these guys, I guess, because
Yeah,
they are low
indeed.
life already. Again. Yeah, that's very vital for the DAK, because the DAK is constantly having manpower issues compared to other factions, and when you retreat these squads earlier, then yeah, you will have lots of more manpower.
Proximity alarm near our capture point.
Lots of additional manpower, that's much better. Oh no, the boys!
Our territory is in enemy
Seems like a
hands.
mechanic that the boys will shoot less fast the second shot when the enemy vehicle is low.
Oh really?
Is that it feels like that for me sometimes. It could
Okay.
could be wrong, could be luck or anything like that. But sometimes it feels like
Our
that.
enemy is on 250 points.
Maybe it's also just because when the vehicles are moving, then maybe squads that are members that are positioned a little bit behind but are carrying a boys rifle need to walk forwards and then aim again. Maybe that's the reason why it's
Could also be
shooting
the case.
slower.
We're losing grasp of the capture.
Bad engagement.
Enemy forces
I
have
would
captured
either
the victory
instantly
point.
soft retreat into the building or hard retreat. After some shots. Now it's time for the hard retreat.
So,
Yeah.
Enemy
Save,
forces
save
have
the
taken
micro,
our
get out of
territory.
there, save them. Save them a lot of headache.
Oh no, I think that's a wipe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Panzer pioneers
And over
lost.
here, 3 Gurkha models dropped. That's also a good thing.
That's nice.
Ah,
And those
the
Panzer Grenadiers
LMGs.
certainly are strong. Especially if the Marder keeps giving them the bonus.
Yeah.
Now
Our
it's gone,
munitions
sadly.
point is being neutralized.
Pretty
by
good
the
idea,
enemy.
by the way, to go for the Breeders to back up the
Yeah.
Panzer Grenadiers. But at the same time, I would like to point out that if you are going for a strat like that, then it's always beneficial to have more Panzer Grenadiers, because the Panzer Grenadiers, yeah, obviously are your workhorses in this situation, and you want to have more of them. The Panzer Grenadiers with the Breeders and an additional LMG 34 are very strong. Especially when you back them up with a combined arms buff using the 250s. And then you have everything you need to have anti-in firepower and snaring capabilities for enemy vehicles. And when you then just back up your Panzer Grenadiers with, yeah, like a Marder spam, it can be pretty much GG, because the only thing that threatens you then are enemy MGs, but at the moment the British Forces player is not going for MGs. And as soon as he goes for the MGs, you still can call in the Knight, for instance. So I think that would be a very good choice at this point of the match. Ooh.
Yeah, that's too late. probably
No, I
get
think,
away.
yeah, I think it's not really, because fortunately these guys are carrying boys rifles and the damage output against infantry is horribly bad. Not horribly bad, it's good that it's so low, because I mean, yeah, they are anti-tank now.
They're still decent, but I feel like when their squad is retreating, the boys' rifles really fall down. It's not like they can wipe a squad.
Yeah.
Territory lost.
Yeah, get back the map control, awesome.
Indeed.
Manpower-wise, it's it's amazing. It really looks amazing.
Nice victory points.
Yeah. The army composition is also still very good, even though there was the Pioneer Squad right over here, but not too bad. So, you're floating manpower, time to spend it. Ah, maybe you're waiting for the Panzer III, but
Enemy forces standing at 200 points.
maybe you could squeeze in another Panzer Grenadier squad in between. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I think that could be dead now. Ah, nice.
We have lost the
Well played.
transport.
Yeah, because
Got
it
out
can
there.
happen that you lose the whole squad.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
But like that, you prevented it. Very nice.
Retreat.
Happy to see that.
Victory point is
Awesome.
being neutralized by the enemy.
The map control is so
Also
good
get
for
back
you.
with the Panzer Grenadiers because it's 3 versus 1. Don't
Yeah,
get
that's
that
true.
engagement.
And the Gurkhas are with the Brennans. They are
Victory point
insane.
lost.
They are very good. By the way, good choice of the British forces player over here to equip the Gurkhas with the Brens. Some people
A capture point
like
is
to
being
use
taken
the
from us.
SMGs, but I think the Brens are way better.
We are losing grasp of a fuel point.
Ah, yes.
Panzer 3
Der
on
Panzer
station.
3! There it is.
Territory overrun.
Has he purchased any upgrades so far?
Oh, good question, good question. The grenades, obviously, we already saw that.
Squad leaders?
Ah.
Yeah.
Our territory is in
Yeah,
enemy
so
hands.
again I would like to point out, get more Panzer Grenadiers. If you are going for that buff, as well as the Bredas, it is essential to go for more and more Panzer Grenadiers, because the buff is, or all the buffs you already deployed are getting more and more useful. Well, nice. The OP got destroyed.
Went for a catch.
Yeah,
Ooh,
right.
that's a big gun.
That's
17 pounder.
yeah. Also very interesting that he went for the 17-pounder.
Indeed.
I mean, maybe it's not that a bad idea, because he saw you going from Mardas. Wait a second, what did I say? I think it's not a good idea, because
Ammunitions point
usually
is
when
being
I
taken
see
from us.
the DAK players going for Mardas, then yeah, that's highly indicating some DAK medium armor spam.
Good engagement from the British.
Maschinengewehr team
Yeah.
have been killed.
And when the DAK is spamming armor, then the 17-pounder is usually
We are
outswarmed and
losing
outflanked
grasp of a
easily.
victory point.
Is he getting the
Fire!
heavy MG?
Our victory point
No.
is being neutralized by
Is
the
he?
enemy.
No, I don't think so.
The enemy have claimed our sector.
It's good.
He's dead! Consolidate!
Make sure you move. I think any second they will... Yeah.
Straight. Low squad out of there.
Only 100 points remaining. Awesome.
Yeah, the victory point pressure is very well.
Yeah. Still didn't lose any victory points so far. Retreat then. Again, and yeah. You can save the MG with a Panzer III, but... Ooh, these soft retreats are no good idea. Oh no, don't get the retreat.
Proximity alarm.
No,
We are
don't.
victory
Yeah,
point.
oh, thank God. Thank God you didn't catch the HMG. Ah, I'm very happy to see that. Okay,
British forces building defenses, very good.
yeah. I see or no?
We have lost control of a victory point.
Okay. Finally going for the Panzer Grenadier.
Grenadier.
That's a very good choice.
He heard you. He heard
Yeah.
you,
We're
alright.
losing grasp
Yeah.
of a munitions point.
Heard the future captain. Okay, may sound confusing, but my real life nickname is Captain.
Commandant, we have command points available to us.
Maybe that would be a good... Ah! Yeah, indeed. Good situation to... No! To capture the MG! Do it! Do it, do it! This MG is serving as a beacon at the moment for enemy units. Yeah. Oh! No model drops for the workers.
17-pounder.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Ooh. Okay. Expected to be over here. Yeah, could be. Okay, nice.
I feel like that's a decent move because oh, nice shot. The Panzerpreis smoke is hard to use to save yourself really in the moment. It's more like you put it on a 17-pounder or 6-pounder or whatever.
Yeah,
Where
indeed.
you block the vision, so I think that's decent use of the smoke.
I like that the British Forces player is using the flares over here. It's great.
Off-map batteries are
think it
available
was the-
to saturate targets in support of our
Was it the heavy mortar?
You probably
Heavy mortar flare?
or a Recce 6. Yeah.
I don't think that he's having any Recce's at the moment. Yeah! Yeah! GG for the British Forces now!
Near our munitions point.
Mighty outdated MG34 is now in the Ducks possession again. Oh, that's a good engagement. Oh, what was it? Ah, that was the turret track, I guess. Ooh, oh no! Sad. Uh-oh. 17-pounder, I think, is now... Ooh, that could be the throw.
Enemy
May
forces have claimed our
or
sector.
maybe the GG? Ooh, no, yeah, okay. Ah, that is an amazing engagement, even though it could go horribly wrong, but still amazing.
Enemy points at
Ah.
75. PP 75.
Oh no, okay, and then the Thilda. But the Marder,
The Panzer III
okay.
has been struck.
Shit.
This is yeah, that was too clean of an engagement.
Don't engage further.
Tiger tank will be made available.
Sad, sad, sad. The Marder is also dead.
Now the British player is smelling blood
Out of
probably.
action.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, I mean, after all, it was a bad engagement, but it was so amazing to see this engagement. Was yeah, it was
Our victory
Sure
Material
was a
for a
fun
movie.
engagement.
by the enemy.
yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
The enemy has taken a victory point.
Okay. You know what?
Victory point under
I don't know.
enemy
Maybe
control.
Eijfflebridges should pay attention, but I didn't I didn't monitor the unit movements. Ah, okay. But now I think we see that you're already using the follow-up commands, because this squad was instantly moving after he finished capping. Okay, that's good.
Ah, yeah.
Mm.
But where are they going? Oh,
Ooh.
there are they going.
We have Tiger heavy tanks available to us.
The red
Tiger
line
heavy
is
tanks!
Not better.
Wow! Wow, okay,
Right,
he
bring the
he
Tiger.
went...
Oh, shoot it! Shoot it! Shoot it! Ah, oh,
Losing man.
What
and
a
it worked.
game! He went for the upgrade, so now he can basically, I mean, the Tiger is not an option, I guess, because
Italian
there's not
infantry are
enough
ready
fuel.
to serve.
But okay, okay, he spends his
Assault Grenadier.
manpower for some
The victory
Berserk
point is
ladies.
being taken from us.
But I think actually the Panzer IV assault group would be a very good choice now, as you already went for the upgrade. So
Our capture
it's
point
very
is being
cost efficient
neutralized by the enemy.
to go for that. Panzer IV with for 80 pieces of fuel, that is super cheap. And also the 600 manpower is very cheap, because the regular Panzer IV at the moment costs 319 manpower for the
The
Wehrmacht.
fuel point is being tipped.
Um,
Supply lines are cut.
And then
Territory
basically
is
that means that you get for 210 manpower you get a assault grenadier squad. I think it's still a good choice even though these nasty workers. Yes! You did it! Perfect choice. The Panzer IV, there it is.
Bill is gonna get him, yeah.
We have input
Yeah,
here,
and
they
I
will
think
reserve
the
command.
squad is also dead because in the
out,
tail
get
there's a
out.
white machine.
Retreat your squads earlier.
Yeah, maybe move. Oh, okay, now it's the GG. So
Matilda is such
defeated.
tank.
Unit has died in service.
We're taking casualties!
You did a great job from the British forces, though.
yeah, let's pause the game now, because I am afraid that the screen will turn black when the game is over. So maybe we could use some time for analyzing stuff we remember during the game but didn't talk about during the match. I don't know. So what are Eijfflebridges? What are the most important things you saw in this match?
I believe a big thing is retreating your squads earlier. So manpower management of your squads. Retreating squads who have a lot of models but also a lot of damage. And prepare to retreat earlier so you can take a little bit of hits, especially when you're surrounded by enemies. Because I feel like the wipes in this game were the things that in the end, after that engagement, that's what stole the victory.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I feel like. And but I saw really good things, and you were really winning the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel like you had the game, or the advantage in the game
Yeah.
most of the time, but then there was the engagement here in the center of the map. I think that was a little bit of a waste, but I think despite despite from that, I still think even though we were ahead, more Panzer Grenadiers would have been the key for an even easier game in the early and mid game. And then there's also another thing. So I mean, you basically went for this battle group, and this battle group gives you access to the breeders, as we already pointed out. Then the Panzer Grenadiers are the unit of choice, but at the same time this battle group is giving you access to the Simovente. And as soon as there is the option of going for the Simovente, I think it's a better idea to just go for the tier 2 and upgrade the tier 2, because then you can get the flak half track, and the flak half track is maybe a little bit overpowered at the moment. In my opinion, it's very strong. Even though, I mean, okay, I have to admit that I didn't play for some time, so I don't know whether any patches fixed it, but it's still more cost efficient to go for the tier 2 and then for the upgrade, instead of going for the tier 2 and the tier 4, when you get like a few units of the tier 2, like for instance the flak half track, maybe anti-tank guns, because they are not very expensive, and that is something the DIK needs. And when you have access to the tier 2 upgrade and have access to the anti-tank gun, which is cost 260 manpower, then you can rely again rely on something like the yeah, okay, now it's gone, but the anti-tank indeed the assault grenadier coin. At the same time, on the other hand, if you're going for the flak feeling, the great advantage of this unit is that you can, especially on maps like this, cover the entire map more or less because it's so fast. You can engage over here, cover your engagement with the flak half track over here a little bit, then if something happens over here, just move this way and go down here real quick and cover the engagement with your infantry over here as well. And at the same time, the only unit that is providing you cover, anti-tank cover for the flak half track is the mechanized tank hunter squad. So if you decide to go for the flak half track, go for the mechanized tank hunter squad first, and then afterwards go for some anti-tank guns and call in the assault grenadiers. That is giving you the biggest advantage of this playstyle. And at the same time, this covers a little bit the weaknesses of this battle group, in my opinion, or the strength as well, or it's covering each other. Wait a second, I'm lost now, but you know what I mean, right? Because the Semovente is more or less the replacement for the Marder, and it also is having access to the barrage. So with that, you get a little bit of
extra utility.
Yeah. Mortar firepower respectively, or artillery firepower with this thing, so you can deal with MGs using this thing, and also you have the Straven Run, also good against MGs and anti-tank guns and all this stuff. So if you go for this battle group, I think that's the better build to do so. However, in the early game we already noticed that you were going for an MG, and as soon as you are going for an MG, I think it is not that necessary anymore. It's still good, but it's not that necessary anymore to go for the flak half track, which means that you indeed go for the tier 3 instead and go for the Marder spam stuff, and then you go, or I think then it's better to go for the Italian infantry battle group, because then you have the buff for the support weapons. And basically what you can do then is to go for several MGs, buff them with the ability of the battle group, and back them up AT-wise using Marders, and maybe one Stuk, which is a Stu basically, Sturmhaubitze, to have the barrage ability again. Yeah, and also I mean there are these buildings here in the center of the map, and it's always lot of fun to use Basilaris with flamethrowers to clear these, because if there's any unit inside, maybe an MG or so, and you manage to get close to the building, I think it takes 2 bursts of the Basilari and it's dead.
You mean the Gustatori?
Oh yeah, Gustatoris, sorry. Yeah, indeed, the Gustatoris, yeah. Nice, yeah, so the rest of the game you played was very good. I mean, I think we saw that you went for that you used the follow-up commands already. That's very, very good. And I think most of the time you were ahead of your opponent. But okay, another thing that's very important is never soft retreat so much when it's not to your advantage. So in the early game we saw it over here when your Pioneer squad was soft retreating from, I think it was like over here. He was soft retreating all the way to this house. After all, he managed to survive and somewhat win the engagement, but since the manpower is so important for the DAK, I think it's more useful to not perform the soft retreat and just insta retreat, because a full health squad, or if the models of a squad are full health respectively, I think that is more useful for the DAK than to win an engagement like that, because the engagement like that is
if you like soft retreating, you should bait him or over a mine or into an MG, or another. Really have a plan for your soft retreat, and or else just get out of there, get the hard retreat.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so basically, but the rest, I mean, you cared for the green cover. No, not the entire rest. So also you went for 2 Panzer Pioneers two Panzer Pioneers always give you the advantage of spamming sandbags, spamming barbed wire, spamming mines, all this stuff. And that's another thing that you need to keep in mind when you're going for this battle group over here. You get access to one free breeder model 30 for your Panzer Grenadiers. So you save a lot of ammunition because you don't necessarily need to go for the additional LMG-34, which basically allows you to spam some mines, and that is something the DAK usually can't do that much. So when you're going for this battle group and two Panzer Pioneers, don't just spam the green cover at crucial points like over here or over here, and the barbed wire to prevent the green cover for your opponent, but also spam mines. That is very important, especially in the early game when the opponent is going for the for this battle group with the, what is it called again, the British artillery.
Yeah, the Indian artillery.
Indian artillery battle group, genau. Indeed. When you see that the opponent is going for this battle group, in the very early game it is very handy to spam some mines, because often enough the British forces players are trying to rush for the reserve infantry buff. With that they get a relief of manpower bleed, and when you spam mines in the early game, they will have the manpower bleed without the compensation buff of their battle group, and that is very handy. So in the early game, especially against this battle group, it's, in my opinion, it's a very good idea to go for the mines. Yeah.
But you did use the grenades in a similar fashion, so that's also great.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. But I think with that, yeah, I think...
GG.
GG, well played, and very, very good game. I mean, the engagement over here, especially this engagement, was so amazingly nice to see. But also over here, when you killed the towing truck over here, which was having the medical conversion, but also the towing truck over here with medical conversion the second time using the tank cutter squad, that was amazing. Yeah, it was very nice to see. And what also was amazing was to see that you went for the upgrade over here to get access to the Tiger, the Panzer IV assault group. Very nice. I mean, that is giving me the idea of maybe to go for the upgrade as well from time to time, because I mean, as I said, I didn't play the game so much lately, so I lost a little bit track of what other players are doing, but your game is now giving me the idea to maybe use this strut as well and maybe rush for the Panzer IV assault group. That could be very, very strong. I mean, still need to make up a plan for getting all these buildings then, because you need all the 4 buildings to get the buff or the upgrade. But yeah, maybe that could be a nice new build. Let's see. Yeah, so thanks for the game. Thanks Eijfflebridges for attending, and let's say GG, well played. Yeah.
See you next time.
See you next time. Good time. See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.